Welcome to Real Vision Crypto's newest campaign, After the Hype, Reality Sets In for NFTs. I'm Ash Bennington. Over the course of this week, we're going to dive deep into the world of NFTs. What are they? Why they might be more than you think, and how are they beginning to change markets and the economy? To set the stage, Raoul Pal sits down with Kevin Kelly, co-founder of Delphi Digital, and Mason Nystrom, senior research analyst for Messari, to hear from Kelly and Nystrom about their thoughts on the future of the space. Enjoy.
Mason, fantastic to get you on Real Vision. I'm really interested in picking your brains about NFTs.
Thanks. Happy to be on.
So just to help people out first, what do you think of an NFT? I mean, different people have different definitions, but what do you think of as NFTs?
Yeah, it's a good question. NFTs suffer from this like super broad terminology, which unfortunately just makes it kind of hard to contextualize. Like if you ask someone in the media, it just means crypto art, but it's so much more than that. So I always try to give the explanation that an NFT is akin to like a new type of file format. So similar to like how if you were to transfer, a photo of yourself or a document over email, like you're sending it as a JPEG, you're sending it as a PDF. But blockchains have their own digitally native files. And so an NFT is just a digitally native file for a blockchain network. And so that can be anything from art, a collectible, it can be a carbon credit or any type of financial product that needs to be unique. And so it can really be very broad.
So give us a little bit about how you saw the history of NFTs evolving. Then we'll talk a little bit about where we think it's all going. So how did it evolve in your mind? Because different people have followed different threads of this whole story. It's been fascinating.
Definitely,
did it start with CryptoKitties with you, or did it come earlier?
It did not. I didn't join crypto until 2017. And so I wasn't, I would say, like on the forefront enough to really get interested in CryptoKitties. And I got into NFTs much later, kind of during the 2018, 2019 bear market, when you just had some side projects trying to do like attendance via an NFT. And so you could prove you were at like some concert or something like that. Ticketing was like a really big thing that people were trying to do for a while too. And then that kind of just slowly evolved. And I just started looking honestly on Dune Analytics at like some of the different smart contracts they could query. And Super Rare was one of them, which is a NFT art marketplace. And that kind of just piqued my interest because I looked at it and I was surprised to see some decent amount of volume there back, before last summer. And then that slowly just kind of grew into everything that NFTs can be. And it's such an exciting space that there's no lack of ways that something can pique your interest.
Yeah, because the narrative is still behind, right? People have seen this big boom in the art market, a bit of a collapse in prices, and then people think that's what NFTs are. They said the same with CryptoKitties, but they're not. These are all proof points of what this is all about. What do you think NFTs are really all about?
Yeah, I think NFTs more broadly are just the trend of tokenizing all types of assets and putting them on blockchains. And where you want any sort of unique asset, a NFT makes sense for that. And so whereas you'll have fungible tokens for derivatives and other types of contracts, whether it's like options, you can have NFTs for existing assets like real estate or new types of assets that exist from blockchains themselves. So like Uniswap is kind of one of those new assets where your liquidity position is actually an NFT. And that's like a fascinating use case that didn't exist before.
So really, in a nutshell, what you're saying is this whole kind of notion of tokenizing everything, that's what NFTs is about. It's not the cryptocurrencies themselves. Tokenizing assets is NFTs. So I don't think people have got their heads around all of the things that can get tokenized, right?
Absolutely. And because if you look at it, art was first, but that will not be the last thing.
No, because we're already seeing people like Sam Bankman-Fried tokenizing equities.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not? Because then you don't have all of the complications of custody and all of the things, settlement, transfer, ownership, all of this stuff. So that it feels like, well, the whole securities industry is probably going to go there. Bonds, equities, everything. As you said, real estate. People are already using tokens for tokenizing real estate.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop at just like existing like financial securities. Like you can go to like intellectual property. Like there's tons of efficiencies to be had by tokenizing those types of contracts on chain, making it easy to find the provenance of who owns this IP, how can I license it, and not have to go through all the middlemen that exist. And so like that extends to all types of content too. You have interesting experiments happening with like NFTs also providing utility value. So like gating access to events, concerts, tickets, and all types of things. And one of kind of the newer trends that you've also seen is like this whole concept of like NFT avatars, where everyone wants their social profile to be representative of themselves. And so CryptoPunks has kind of been like the early go-to of that. And you have a bunch of other styles of avatar projects that have recently launched over the past quarter. They've done 350.
Bored Ape is the other one.
Yep, Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's done as a collective, like that category, 350 million in volume this past quarter. And it just goes to show you that NFTs aren't going away. OpenSea, which is the largest NFT marketplace, had its best month ever this past June. And so it's just transversing across different assets rather than staying on one local asset.
And, you know, one of the things that I've spent a bit of time thinking about is the metaverse. When we start moving into a whole digital world, it feels that everything then becomes an NFT, because all of the real estate within that, how you move around it, how you get access to things, everything becomes an NFT world, right?
Absolutely. It just becomes a combination of NFTs and fungible tokens. I mean, if you look at kind of one of the leading games, Axie Infinity, they have their own digital universe that they're selling digital land in. They have Axies, which is kind of like the in-game Pokemon-esque monster that you use to battle and breed. Then you have a commodity asset called Small Love Potion, which is used to breed Axies. And then you have the native governance token, the Axie Infinity token, which kind of governs the entire system and has some other like DeFi mechanics in it. And so you get these like really complex economies that can really just be very value creating.
I was also flipping on to the other side, is like, you've mentioned ticketing twice, and I've seen this, you know, with artists saying so much of our ticket revenue goes to Ticketmaster, then the high frequency trading scalping firms, and then the platforms like StubHub, and then the scalpers outside. He said there's all of this revenue that gets taken away and the fans end up paying more money. And basically, if you put it on an NFT, it's a proven ownership of the ticket, and that's it. It's done.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of the second benefit is like, it's totally fine that there's a secondary market for tickets. Like you get it at some price, someone wants to pay more. But the great part about NFTs is you can pass a royalty so that the artist makes money on every consecutive sale. So if their tickets appreciate in value for this concert or for a backstage pass, they get an additional cut of that, which is really transformative when you talk about how artists make money.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Beeple showed the way with that too, because people forget that these NFTs have embedded smart contracts. So you can change whatever terms they are, whether it's, you know, on IP rights or whether it's, you know, the IP rights to the Beeple artwork. You know, he gets paid every time it changes hands in perpetuity, which is groundbreaking. Yeah,
I kind of call this the David Greenberg problem. He had a tweet that went viral that said, like, you're not paying me for the 30 minutes, you're paying me for like the 30 years of experience. And what NFTs allow with royalties is for the artist to capitalize on their early work, which oftentimes gets sold at such a discount to its future value because they're just trying to make money. And so it allows them to really capitalize on their work for the lifetime that it exists.
So you analyze this space and look at it in great detail. What are the projects to you that are like, okay, this is really interesting, I think this is going to be huge? What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think NFT space is really unique because you can look at it from a broad perspective of, say, a governance token in some world like Axie Infinity or Sandbox, or you can look at the actual NFTs within those ecosystems. And so from like a broader context, I think the marketplaces are like really tried and true business models. It makes a lot of sense. They're providing a lot of value to the users who are buying and trading on that platform. And so something like Rarible, which is an open permissionless marketplace, really piques my interest, because when you have that open marketplace that anyone can build on top of, you can really leverage the open source software that Ethereum has shown can create a massive ecosystem like DeFi. And so we're just kind of waiting for that to happen in the NFT space.
And who's using Rarible right now? What's it being used for?
So you have, anyone can issue, or they call it minting, an NFT on their platform. And you've had a bunch of artists, celebrities like Soulja Boy. Twitter actually just launched the Twitter 140 NFT collection on their platform this week. which was really interesting. So, I mean, anyone from an individual to a brand is using it. And Rarible also, similar to OpenSea, has now integrated other smart contracts. So you can now buy a CryptoPunk or an Axie on their site as well. It's kind of a generalized marketplace.
Okay. What else is interesting outside of the marketplaces?
Outside of the marketplaces, I really love fantasy sports. I think it's obviously a multi-billion-dollar industry as it exists today, and it's only going to grow. I mean, it's kind of the reason like Yahoo still exists, because you don't want to change your fantasy sports account. So within that vein, you have SoRare, which is a soccer or football fantasy game, and then you also have NBA Top Shot, which is on Flow as opposed to Ethereum, which SoRare is on.
Hey, if you like this clip, be sure to check out the full interview and more only on realvision.com/crypto. It's 100% free. Sign up now.